We thank you for serving as our director of music for the past 7 years. You have mentored the choir of various voices and ages and numbers. You've collaborated with pianists, including Lindley Wang, Christopher Hewitt, and now Judy Kim. And you filled in ably when we had no pianists. During the pandemic, when our services were online, you experimented with virtual singing and even made clones of yourself to sing in harmony. And then you helped us feel comfortable singing together in person again, with precautions and with great joy. According to Plato, music is a more perfect instrument than any other for education, because rhythm and harmony find their way into the inward places of the soul. Wouldn't you all agree that Ian's musical leadership, his arrangements, and particularly his beautiful voice have found their ways into the inward places of our souls at First UU of Stockton? Yeah. And we might recall in particular Ian singing "O Holy Night" at our Christmas Eve service, Danny Boy at our Celtic Huli, father and son trumpets in the organ loft on very special occasions, and Ian's Cal Berkeley ensemble singing at Emerson Coffee House, just to name a few. As your lovely wife Amy recalled, Easter of 2015 was the first day we ever attended UU, knowing nothing about the church. And at the end of that service, Bob announced that they would be needing a new musical director. I turned to Ian and said, "Well, that's interesting." And after a few more weeks of attendance and hearing that same plea, he decided to apply. He officially started September, a lifetime ago. Thank you, Amy, and to Riley, to Paige, for being a big part of our UU family. We embrace you, as always. Ian, this has been a wild ride, and you have been flexible and dynamic in providing music for us during an incredibly tumultuous time. Always kind, always sincere, always in harmony. Please join me in thanking Ian Kirk with a warm round of applause.
And now the musical portion that Carolyn put together for us is ABBA's Thank You for the Music. She's going to have the choir singing the chorus and wants you to join along, but I grew up singing ABBA songs. I know the words without having to look at the lyrics, so I might just be singing all the words. And if you go to Music in the Park, you know it always ends in Stockton with the ABBA tribute band, and everybody sings every lyric and dances all night long. So if you're moved like me to sing loudly to everything, and I generally don't sing loudly, but for Ian I definitely want to, then please feel free to sing with our choir and with the actual ABBA Thank You for the Music.
Well, Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Universalist Church in Stockton. We're glad you're here and hope you will find here what you are seeking. We are a community of individuals holding many different beliefs, coming from many different places, and each progressing on our own journeys of life and faith. We join together in our commitment to care for humanity and to shape a better, healthier, more hopeful world. We promise to accept and encourage all those persons of goodwill who gather here, recognizing that we all continue to grow and learn throughout our lifetimes. We especially welcome and stand with LGBTQ plus persons, even as we seek to welcome all persons of every age, ability, status, shade of skin. We strive to make our community a place of peace and acceptance, love and nurture, even as we challenge ourselves and others to live more faithfully according to the values of Unitarian Universalism. Our children's program is led by Michaela, who is assisted by Jessica, and sometimes volunteers, and she may be recruiting some of you for volunteering to help occasionally in days to come. Children generally stay in the service until after we sing them out following the story for all ages. And we haven't gotten to the point of putting announcements back in the order of service yet, so I'm going to ask if anybody has anything they need to say. And I'll ask that you come up and do it from here, and thank you for remaining masked. If you are speaking from the microphone here, it's okay not to mask because we feel like there's enough distance. Otherwise, we hope that everyone else will stay masked.
Hi, I know most of you know I'm Mary Bullard. I see very familiar faces here. But in case there's some new people there, since the insert wasn't in the order of service, we have been publicizing recently that we will have what's called a newcomers class this afternoon after the service. So immediately after the service, I'll be in the kitchen gathering a few items, and we will meet in the conference room. We'll show you if you don't know where it is. And we'll have a little lunch, and then there will be a history of the development of this church from Bob. He squeezes 2,000 years into about an hour, and that's hard to do. And then I will give some information and history of this particular church and the 200-year-old organ up there and a few things of interest to you. And so anyone, some of you have signed up with me that you're coming today, and that's terrific. But if there's a couple of you that would like to come, I always have extra lunch, and you're welcome to stay and come to the class. Thank you.
Anything else need to be announced?
Congregational meeting.
Yeah, when is it going to be?
I'm available to 12, and I don't be mad at me.
Okay. All right. The annual congregational meeting is going to be next Sunday following the service, and we're sorry that notice didn't get out in a more timely manner, but we hope that you all will plan to stick around for the annual meeting. I think it'll go quickly, so that'll be after the service next Sunday, the 12th. Okay. I don't...
Gloria.
Can you come up? Okay. Oh, you're getting much better at walking again.
I will never take mobility for granted.
I hear that.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Speaking here. Hi, I'm Gloria Smith. Next Sunday, in addition to the annual congregation meeting, we will be hosting our second family for Family Promise. They will arrive at 5:30, so it'll be after our meeting is over. But for those of you who are interested in continuing to volunteer for the project, Family Promise, I sent out an email this morning. Our very first family has been housed. Yay! Okay, they were in the system, and I was trying to calculate. I don't have the exact details, but they were in the system for less than a month. So
Great.
They went from unhoused to housed. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Gloria, and thank you for spearheading all of this effort. And all the rest of you who helped. Rosemary, I know, is very active, and Mary has done a lot, and so many of you. So thank you for that. We'll continue then with our service, and I'll invite Judy to play the prelude.
Good morning. I'm Christina Chavez Nelson and will be your worship associate today. Our opening words are by our own Reverend Klein. One of the best and most important things we are as a Unitarian Universalist congregation is a place of lifelong learning. We believe in supporting education about our religious tradition, other religious traditions, and about the world in which we live. We try to offer classes and groups for children, youth, and adults, believing that we learn best by our interactions with each other. Our worship services are a conversation with each other about the meaning of life, the ways we might better love others, and the ways we might preserve and protect the world in which we live by challenging destructive patterns in our midst, throughout society and among cultures and nations of the world. We strive to continue growing throughout our lifetimes as we seek to model the healthiest approaches to life that we can. In all things, we affirm that we always have more to learn, more to discover, and more to explore. And now please join me in the chalice lighting words which are printed in your service. Nathaniel has volunteered to light the chalice today. Ready? Begin. We light our chalice today as a beacon of life and learning, welcoming all who wish to share with us this journey and quest. And now we have response and invitation number 188, 188. Come, come, whoever you are, 3 times. It is in the hardback hymnal, but you see also the lyrics right there.
No, not that one. 188. Sorry, I didn't clue you in on that. Hopefully we all know this.
Yeah.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. One more time. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come.
For anybody I haven't met, my name is Michaela, and I am the new Director of Religious Education here at Stockton UU. Before I start the story, I just wanted to, I didn't see it in the program, but I was asked by Reverend Bob a few days ago to just make a sort of a little statement about the state of the RE program, our religious education program here at the church. I just want to first thank all the families that have come or have called people to attend back to church. I know it's been hard the last 2 years, but for those of you who do show up, we do see you and we appreciate you. So we're going to be putting together the best possible program we can. Jessica and I in the back, she is the assistant DRE, who was also recently hired on. So we're going to work on putting together the best possible classes we can for kids. This is the Youth Sunday is typically the time when children graduate, right, Reverend Bob? They graduate typically from one period of religious education classes to another, but unfortunately we don't have that currently, but we hope to bring that to you in the future. So today I have a story from our Tapestries of Faith, and it's called Flame of Learning, Chalice of Love by Janine Grossmeier. Have you ever watched a candle burn? The fire is alive. It moves, it flickers, it dances on the wind. It changes with every breath of air. Fire is alive, it is born. It grows and it dies. People have always known that fire was special. There was the great fire in the sky, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were smaller fires that people made, fires that cooked their food, kept them warm, and brought them light. People honored the fires because it was so special. It was more than human. Fire has power. It can create and it can destroy. It can bring light and it can burn. Fire can be wonderful and it can be terrible. We have to be very careful with fire. And so people thought that fire was something sacred and holy. Some people even worshiped fire and said that it was a deity, like a goddess or a god. Other people said fire wasn't actually the deity, but just meant that the deity was there. No matter what they believed, people all over the world gave fire a special place in their religions. They had fires in their homes, of course, to cook food and keep warm. They also had sacred fires in their temples. They set sacred lamps on their altars. They lit sacred bonfires outside on the hilltops and in the groves. They placed sacred torches near the graves of those who have died. We still do this today. In Washington, D.C., near the tomb of the unknown soldier, burns an eternal flame that never goes out. In churches at Christmas time, many Christians light 4 candles on an Advent wreath. During the 8 days of Hanukkah, Jewish people light the 8 candles of the menorah. On Diwali, Hindus set a small lamp around the house. And when Unitarian Universalists gather, we light the chalice. This is our sacred fire. The flame gives light and warmth, just like all fires. It also has a symbol, something we use to represent the light of learning. The chalice is a symbol, too. A chalice is really just a big cup that you can drink from. When you're thirsty, the nicest thing someone can do is give you something to drink. Giving a drink to someone is a way of welcoming them into your house. In a way, it means you're part of the same family, just like everyone here is part of the same family, the Unitarian Universalist family. The picture of a flame in a chalice was first drawn by a man named Hans Deutsch during World War II in the Unitarian Service Committee. And this may be before some of you people were born. During the war, the committee needed a symbol to show refugees from many different countries that they were there to help them. When refugees saw the symbol of the flame in the chalice, it didn't matter what language they spoke. They understood that the symbol stood for help. Unitarian Universalists started to use the flaming chalice in their worship services after that. Just like the sacred fires, people have used chalices in their religions for thousands and thousands of years. Long ago, the Greeks and Romans put wine in their chalices. Others have put water or blood or even milk or melted butter in their chalices. The Celts believed that drinking from the cauldron of the goddess would bring people back to life. Jesus shared a cup of wine with his friends. Many Christians still do this in religious celebrations today. We Unitarian Universalists don't drink from our chalice. Instead, we use it to hold our sacred flame. The circle of the chalice helps keep the fire small. The flame doesn't blind us. It doesn't burn us. It gives us light so that we can see all the different things in the universe, even the invisible ones, because the Unitarian Universalist flame is the light of learning. The circle of our family keeps us warm, both our family at home and at the Unitarian Universalist family. We help each other, and we share food and drink with each other. We take care of one another, because that's what families are supposed to do. We invite and welcome everyone to be part of our family, because the Unitarian Universalist Universalist chalice is the chalice of love. The flaming chalice is a symbol of learning and love. It's our symbol, the symbol of UU.
Why? Now we're going to have our words of affirmation, and yes, we have children in the sanctuary today. So children, please join me in reading and saying aloud our plain font, and adults, you get the italicized out loud. And if you're feeling childlike, feel free to express both sets of affirmations. Ready? Begin. We believe in love.
Love is the only doctrine of this church.
We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is our sacrament,
We believe in helping others.
and service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, serve humanity in fellowship, and cherish the earth and its creatures. This do we covenant, each with the other.
And now our Director of Religious Education, Michaela, is going to read our story for all ages. And now it is my great privilege, since our chair, Jerry Bigby, could not be here, to introduce the Reverend Bob Green Scholarship recipient. From our official scholarship announcement 2022, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Scholarship Selection Committee, all of whom except for Jerry are here today, Bob Garrett, Beverly Schlesser, Marlene Smith-Barncini, so just raise your hands, wave around, and myself, I am pleased to recognize this year's recipient of the Robert E. Green Memorial Scholarship, Godwina Obede. Godwina, can you please come up? This scholarship was established by the First Unitarian Universalist Church on the occasion of Reverend Green's 20th year as our minister. And as many of you know, Reverend Green was highly active in community advocacy and social justice. This scholarship is awarded each year to a graduating high school senior from San Joaquin County based on their record of community service. This year, we are awarding $1,000 to Godwina. Now let me tell you a little bit about her that was written for us by Jerry from her amazing application. She's graduated from Lathrop High School and will be attending UCLA in the fall. She has been actively involved in school and community service, including leadership roles in the Black Student Union and Black Lives Matter. And in college, Godwina plans to major possibly in forensic science with a career of law in the future. Now, would you like to say a few words? Because I know everybody else would much rather hear from you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Godwina Obede. Like Christina said, I attended Lathrop High School in Lathrop, California, which is the next town over, if you didn't know. This year I was one of the ASB presidents, so I had the honor of kind of representing the school as a whole. I was also the president for Black Student Union and Interact, which is a community service-based club that partners with our Rotary, which is our local in our community. In the fall I plan to attend UCLA, and I will be majoring in pre-psychology, hopefully going into the law path to become an FBI profiler. So, thank you. The First Unitarian Universalist, I really appreciate you guys for choosing me as a scholarship recipient, and I couldn't be more thankful, as well as I know my mom, as she's a single widowed mother, and this scholarship will do a lot for me and in my educational future. So thank you.
Now we'll sing our children to their classes in the cottage with Michaela and Jessica. The words are in your order of service. Please stay seated.
As you go, may joy surround you. As you
great privilege, since our chair, Jerry Bigby, could not be here, to introduce the Reverend Bob Green Scholarship recipient. From our official scholarship announcement 2022, on behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Scholarship Selection Committee, all of whom except for Jerry are here today, Bob Garrett, Beverly Schlesser, Marlene Smith-Barncini, so just raise your hands, wave around, and myself. I am pleased to recognize this year's recipient of the Robert E. Green Memorial Scholarship, Godwina Obede. Godwina, can you please come up? This scholarship was established by the First Unitarian Universalist Church on the occasion of Reverend Green's 20th year as our minister. And as many of you know, Reverend Green was highly active in community advocacy and social justice. This scholarship is awarded each year to a graduating high school senior from San Joaquin County based on their record of community service. This year, we are awarding $1,000 to Godwina. Now let me tell you a little bit about her that was written for us by Jerry from her amazing application. She's graduated from Lathrop High School and will be attending UCLA in the fall. She has been actively involved in school and community service, including leadership roles in the Black Student Union and Black Lives Matter. And in college, Godwina plans to major possibly in forensic science with a career of law in the future. Now, would you like to say a few words? Because I know everybody else would much rather hear from you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Godwina Obede. Like Christina said, I attended Lathrop High School in Lathrop, California, which is the next town over, if you didn't know. This year I was one of the ASB presidents, so I had the honor of kind of representing the school as a whole. I was also the president for Black Student Union and Interact, which is a community service-based club that partners with our Rotary, which is our local in our community. In the fall I plan to attend UCLA, and I will be majoring in pre-psychology, hopefully going into the law path to become an FBI profiler. So, thank you. The First Unitarian Universalist, I really appreciate you guys for choosing me as a scholarship recipient, and I couldn't be more thankful, as well as I know my mom, as she's a single widowed mother, and this scholarship will do a lot for me and in my educational future. So thank you.
Our journeys of life come with so many surprises along the way, so many joys, so many sorrows. We celebrate all those who are moving forward in their lives, Godwina and all the youth that are moving on to new opportunities, our children as they are growing and moving on to their next grades, those of us retiring and moving on to our next opportunities, those of us who are ending our lives, reaching that point where it's time to let go. Life is a beautiful thing. It's wonderful, amazing, marvelous, exciting, surprising, agonizing, wonderful, and yet hard. That is our understanding of life. All the pieces that we share are important. The joys and sorrows that we share with each other Speak to our awareness each time we share. We don't know what is beyond this life, so we take our joy in living this life to the full. We are glad to gather, glad to share our stories, glad to have friends here in this community. We give thanks for all the energies for justice that have been put forth by so many people in recent days. There's so many things to be concerned about. We try to come at it with hope, in hope that everyone of every color will find justice, that nations will find justice, that we will find the peace as a community that we strive to share with the world. We give thanks for each other this day, and we wish well all those who are going out with goodwill to bring justice and healing to our troubled world. For all these things, we give thanks this day. Amen. Invite us now to sing Spirit of Life. The words are printed in the program.
Our first responsive reading is number 652, The Great End in Religious Instruction by W.E. Channing. It's in your hardback hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition. And just like words of affirmation, I get the plain font and you get to read the italicized aloud. Again, wrote by The Great End in Religious Instruction by William Ellery Channing. The great end in religious instruction is not to stamp our minds upon the young, but to stir up their own.
Not to make them see with our eyes, but to look inquiringly and steadily with their own.
Not to give them a definite amount of knowledge, but to inspire a fervent love of truth.
Not to form an outward regularity, but to teach inward springs.
Not to bind them by ineradicable prejudices to our particular sect or peculiar notions.
But to prepare them for impartial, conscientious judging of whatever subjects may be offered to their decision.
Not to burden the memory, but to quicken and strengthen the power of thought.
Not to impose religion upon them in the form of arbitrary rules, but to awaken the conscience, the moral discernment.
In a word, the great end is to awaken the soul, to excite and cherish spiritual life. And now we will have the sharing of our gifts and offerings. We do not pass the plate anymore since we reopened after COVID, but the plate is in the center aisle on the stand. There are envelopes there for people who are giving pledges, and so that they can mark it, and Nicole make sure that that is put in your record. And any of you who are visitors, please understand, you are our guests. Your presence alone is a gift. And as always, thank you to all the members of the congregation and our visitors who help our church in all the ways of their time, their energy, their work out in the world, as Reverend Bob said. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. I invite you to turn back to your hymnals to number 657, to a reading provided by Sophia Lyon Foz entitled, It Matters What We Believe, number 657. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged.
Other beliefs are expansive and give way to wider and deeper sympathies.
Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities.
Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness.
Some beliefs are divisive, separating the saved from the unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds that work in community, where sincere differences beautify the pattern.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction.
Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration.
Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world.
Other beliefs are pliable, like a young sapling, and ever growing in the upward thrust of life.
Lifelong learning for Religious Education Sunday. One of the best and most important things we are as Unitarian Universalists is a place of lifelong learning. We believe in supporting education about our religious tradition, other religious traditions, and about the world in which we live. We try to offer classes and groups for children, youth, and adults, believing that we learn best by our interactions with each other. Our worship services are a conversation with each other about the meanings of life, the ways we might better love others, and the ways we might preserve and protect the world in which we live by challenging destructive patterns in our midst, throughout society, and among cultures and nations of the world. We strive to continue growing throughout our lifetimes as we seek to model the healthiest approaches to life that we can. In all things, we affirm that we always have more to learn, more to discover, more to explore. There are many ways that we have recognized and celebrated religious education over the years. Some years, usually in the fall, we have dedicated teachers and sent participants off to their classes with a chalice and our hopes for their opportunity to learn about themselves, our Unitarian Universalist tradition, and the beliefs and practices of other religions of the world. Some years in the spring, we have celebrated the end of the religious education year and recognized those children and youth moving to the next level of learning. In some years, when there are enough youth, we may have offered a coming-of-age class and invited them to share their personal credos and wisdom gained in the process. But religious education is not just for the young. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in lifelong learning. Many congregations have a director of lifespan religious education who helps to plan and coordinate classes and groups for all ages. Over the years, we have offered classes on many topics for adults, including introductions to Unitarian Universalism, various great courses, videos, discussions of various books about beliefs, our self-understandings, our dreams, a number of psycho-spiritual matters, beliefs and practices of other religions, opportunities for spiritual growth, ecological matters, racism, sexism, and heterosexism. We also have offered and encouraged covenant groups. We believe that learning is a lifelong process, and few, if any of us, would say that we are finished learning. Our commitment to lifelong learning fits well with our tradition as a creedless religious community. It would not make sense to take a creed from any age and offer it up as something we could believe for all time. As we continue to learn, our personal credos must change frequently to accommodate new wisdom that we have acquired in our processes of exploration and discovery. As we learn and grow and change individually, we bring our best understandings of life to our congregation. And our congregation also learns and grows and changes. At times, this has been offered up as an explanation of why we remain a religious movement, that we are not stuck in one place, but continue to move as we continue to learn about ourselves and the cosmos. Even when we face challenging times such as these, we remain open to trying new things, to exploring new ways of being as a congregation. One of the first things that I was given by some of you when I was still settling in was a membership to OLLI. I still regret that I did not take more advantage of it, for I deeply appreciated the commitment to lifelong learning that it symbolized. I expect to take more advantage of such opportunities in my retirement, as well as reading most of the stacks of books I have acquired but not yet read over the years. Classes and books are great sources of learning, but so are spending time with people and exploring the world. I hope to do more of all those things as I move on to the next segment of my life as well. It's an old adage that you can't teach old dogs new tricks. And it certainly is harder to teach some of us things as we age. But unless we are afflicted with dementia or some other mental disabilities, we all continue to learn new things every day. And I don't mean the things that are new again each morning, because most of us continue to have at least some space to hold on to new ideas and new realities. There are some people who stubbornly refuse to assimilate new ideas or consider new perspectives, but few of them are Unitarian Universalists. Most of us have a higher tolerance for ambiguity and a greater realization that the world is neither flat nor fixed in space, but continues to change and move along with all of its parts. That doesn't mean that we jump on every bandwagon that comes along, for we also tend to assess new ideas and changing realities pretty carefully before deciding how we will respond. This, of course, is also a result of the things we have learned along the way, for not all new ideas or approaches are desirable, and assessing them is always appropriate. I don't mean to suggest that learning is a chore, because most of us also really enjoy learning, even when the things we are learning challenge our previous conceptions of ourselves, others, and the universe. Too many people in our nation think of education as confined to reading, writing, and arithmetic that children learn in the elementary years. Too many people have stopped trying to learn, often because of religious beliefs in an unchanging deity, in an unchanging universe. Many of us are Unitarian Universalists precisely because we have continued to learn, to explore, to discover. Few, if any of us, would say that we know all that can be known, or even that we know all we want or need to know. We may or may not go to continuing education classes, but we have an awareness of the world that allows us to assimilate new ideas, an open-mindedness that inspires us to read, listen to the news, and discuss ideas. One of the interesting realities of modern technology is that we can research almost anything on our communication devices. It might be a bit rude under conventional rules of etiquette, but I'm rarely surprised to see friends, colleagues, and parishioners looking up some matter of interest on the internet as we are discussing it. Since I have also been known to Google things on the spur of the moment, it would be hypocritical of me to criticize others for this. Of course, not everything we find on the internet is true, but there is so much good information available that we would have to stick our heads in the sand to ignore the value of the internet. Some judicious caution in assessing information is always appropriate, but not everything in books or on the news is true either. And even information once thought true and accurate is often replaced by better information as new realities are discovered. That, of course, is another reason why lifelong learning is so important. No matter how much we may have learned as children, things change as time goes on, leaving us at a disadvantage in the world if we fail to continue learning. And that brings us around to the question of what children should be learning in religious education. 200 years ago, William Ellery Channing seems to suggest that open-mindedness and awareness of others and the world should be foremost in religious education that awakens the soul. A century and a half or so ago, Emerson was encouraging people to explore the natural world, while his friend and walking companion, Thoreau, built a cabin to do so on Emerson's land. 3/4 of a century ago, Sophia Lyon Fahs encouraged development of beliefs that were expansive and diverse gateways of exploration, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. And those are only a few of the influences that have shaped Unitarian Universalist religious education over the years. What classes and groups should we be offering for children, youth, and adults in this hopefully post-pandemic world? What opportunities for lifelong learning should we be offering in this newly re-emerging world? I believe that exploration and discovery ought to be key components of all forms of education at every level. The ways that they might be encouraged would change with the subject, but would remain vital to an open-minded approach to learning for everyone throughout life. During my years of UU ministry, two kinds of classes have been particularly important. Coming-of-age classes for youth offer a unique opportunity for youth to explore what they believe and to work on some statement of those beliefs, a credo, at that moment in their lives. Building your own theology classes are something of an adult equivalent. OWL, Our Whole Life classes, offer an opportunity for age-level groups throughout life to explore their sexuality and gender identification in dialogue with others in a safe, healthy, and honest manner. Over the last several years, class curricula for many other UU religious education topics at all age levels have been developed under the banner of the Tapestry of Faith. The Tapestry of Faith curricula are available for download without charge for UUs and UU congregations. One of the things many of us have learned through the course of our lives is that we have many choices, many paths, many opportunities. It is said that change may be the only real constant in the universe anyway, but for most of us, stopping the learning process is simply not an option. If we couldn't read or hear or listen to TV or radio, and even if we couldn't speak, our dreams would continue to teach us how to navigate our internal worlds. We continue to change and grow because we continue to learn, and learning is a lifelong process. So go out and learn things. Shalom, salam, blessed be, namaste, and amen. And I'm going to come down with the microphone for any thoughts you might want to share about learning and religious education. And I want to tell you that my editor said that I needed more heart in this sermon, more universalism, things like creation spirituality, which is more experiential. So I'm looking for ideas that might add more heart to the look at hymn number 301, which I think is a fun one for closing this service. And I invite you to please stand as you are able and join in the hymn. Wait a minute. Okay, we'll just do 3 verses. The one's easiest to find with the music. Thank you. Touch the earth, reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faith a quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why. In our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Lies the time left in between to follow a star, to build a dream. I invite you to connect with those around you as you are comfortable. May this congregation always be dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there's a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may love make you strong. Go out and learn and share blessings with the world. Amen. May this congregation always be dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there's a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may love make you strong. Go out and learn and share blessings with the world. Amen.